So, how are you doing today?
Good, man.
Good. So, this is Eric Grimsman with Real Talk with Eric. I'm here with my good friend Kevin Eggleston from Kevin M Sales. We're just going to talk to you a little bit today about the top 3 things that it takes to either leave your 9-to-5 job or start your own business. So, Kevin, tell me a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today.
Okay. So first of all, I started working when I was 15 years old. I'm 30 now, so I started off obviously in a 9-to-5 position. I started with a supermarket called Publix down here in Florida, and I just started as a bagger, started working my way up, and really wound up actually working that job for about 13 years. So I worked until I was 28, and ultimately decided to go ahead and get into a sales position, which I'll get into later about what spurred that inside of me. But as far as my family background, we grew up lower middle class, so I didn't have a whole lot growing up. I mean, we grew up together.
Yeah.
So we just didn't have a lot. My parents smiled through it all, and God bless them for doing that. I appreciate the heck out of them. But ultimately, I think what was lacking in my childhood that I want to provide for me and my family is just the overall abundance, the abundance that we all crave as business owners, as salespeople. And when you're in a 9-to-5, that's what got me out of it, was craving the abundance. Like, hey, in my 9-to-5, no matter how well I performed, I always brought home, $15 an hour. And that just didn't sit right with me. So, getting into a sales position, it was more of an incentive to keep growing inside and allowing that to translate into more income and all that stuff. Really, I think the thing that spurred it all, I actually wound up reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And right then, I read that when I was 18. So I still had 10 years after I read that book before I actually made the leap to go on my own. But that's kind of what spurred it all. I started seeing things in a different way. It led to me reading more and more books. And it's a huge trend now, being an entrepreneur and all that good stuff. Everybody wants it. Everybody craves that lifestyle. Yeah. But it took a long time for me to jump off the cliff, so to speak. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started for me.
Was there anything in your life that really was the turning point of where you were just like, oh yeah, I need to, do something different?
Yeah. Actually, when I was, and I tell this story a lot, when I turned 25, on my 25th birthday, I was still working at the supermarket, and basically I looked in the mirror, literally. Like, I woke up, I was getting ready for work, I turned 25, and I was looking in the mirror, and I was like, dude, you have jack shit. And I was scared, I was not happy, and I at 25, I had a little bit of awareness to see where life was heading, and I wasn't happy, like, I wanted more. I knew that I could do more. I felt like I was settling if I was gonna stay there. So I think, honestly, just turning 25 and having that realization of, dude, you don't have shit, was the big turning point for me. And then I really started to kick it in gear with the knowledge, the self, the personal development, and 3 years after that, I left my 9-to-5, and now I'm 100% commission-based real estate agent here in Florida.
So what would you say then would your mindset have to be for some new agents or someone trying to get into a commission-based sales position? What would you say the mindset would have to be for them?
Yeah, I think the mindset, overall, what we talk about a lot, is embracing the suck. So being able to see the challenges as a blessing. I mean, that's the biggest sale of all, is selling yourself that all of this hard work that you're putting in is for a bigger reason, and it's gonna pay off. But I think that's the biggest mindset, is just being ready to embrace the suck, and no matter what the challenge is, you're ready to do the work, you're ready to put in the time, and just stay focused.
So with that being said, then talk a little bit about how to plan on what you need to have in order to get into what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, so I think you're gonna want to have a plan first of all. So don't just quit your job and then figure it out. You need to get the ball rolling. Like work the 9 to 5, come home, spend a couple hours, even just an hour a day. You'll start the ball rolling. If you put in more time, it's just gonna, like I said, I barely, it took me 10 years overall to go from knowing to doing. So just start building that in your downtime. Keep feeding that beast, and it will lead you in the right direction. But overall, before you make the leap, you're gonna want a couple things. You're gonna want a plan. So once you quit the 9 to 5, you want to know exactly what to do on the next day. Who you're going to be calling, how you're going to be calling them, how you're going to follow up, how you're going to get the deals to close. You're not going to know everything. I know that's kind of contradictory, but you're not going to be able to see all the steps ahead of you. But those core things about like the actions that you're taking, you need to have that figured out day one. And then also getting into, again, I'm a real estate agent, so these deals, they take some time to come to fruition. So I would definitely say, like 6 months of reserves. Start building your savings account so that way you have 6 months of bills paid. You know what you're gonna do, take the leap, and then you have 6 months to just execute and just crush it.
Well, that kind of touches base with the next question I had for you was, what would you recommend a newly licensed agent or someone looking to leave their 9 to 5 job having savings in order to prepare for upcoming push into that real estate position or that sales position?
Yeah, 6 months. I think 6 months does it. Your story is amazing. He got into the business 4 months in, closed his first deal, which is a lot quicker than a lot of other real estate agents can say. So, 4 months is optimistic, but 6 months is definitely realistic. If you're on the grind and you're making the calls, 6 months is plenty of time. By 6 months, you can be consistent. So, I think that's a good time frame to plan for. Have the 6 months of savings. That way, all the bills are good, and then just be ready to embrace the suck and be ready to grind it out.
So we kind of covered everything. Is there anything else that you'd like to add on top of that anybody should know?
Let's see. As far as making that leap, I think it all starts. If you haven't read the book Think and Grow Rich, start there.
It's a great book.
Great book. So it all starts with just a single thought. If you're watching this video, you obviously have the thoughts going on. How much action you have taken so far is going to vary between each person, but if you have the thoughts, the ball is rolling. You just haven't rolled it enough to have an outward push of energy. It's all internal still. So keep building that internal energy, and eventually it's just gonna pour out, and you're gonna start talking to people. You're gonna be driven, man. You're gonna be talking to as many people as you can, just asking the important questions, seeing if you can, help them out in some way. But yeah, just keep building on the thought and keep working towards, physically doing that stuff.
Well, awesome. I just want to thank you, Kevin, for coming on to the show today. If you like the video, drop some comments in the comment section below. If you don't like the video, drop some comments in the comment section below. If you love the content that we're putting out, subscribe. Would love, just love to have anybody that's looking to generate any type of, the life that they're looking to get into, pursue. Thank you so much and have a great day.
See ya.